In the case of marrying non-Muslims, male Muslims, are allowed to marry female Jews and Christians, as long as they are believing Jews and Christians. They should not be just nominal Jews and Christians. They should be believing Jews and Christians. But yes, men are allowed to marry among those two populations. Muslim women are not. Muslim women are supposed to marry Muslim men. And this idea is based upon an assumption of the greater powers of compulsion and in the marriage, so on, that the husband has over the wife. It's based on an assumption of a power differential between husband and wife in the marriage, so that a Muslim woman, were she to marry a non-Muslim man, that man might somehow be able to coerce her one way or the next into giving up her religion. Okay. So this was the understanding, was that yes, Muslim men can marry outside the faith in these two traditions specifically, but women were supposed to marry only other Muslim men.
So if a female does marry outside the Islam, is she considered excommunicated?
Well,
I'm using that term only because I'm not sure what would happen to that woman in the eyes of other
not excommunicated. No, I mean, excommunication isn't really something that happens in Islam. I mean, it's a woman engaging in an invalid marriage. An invalid marriage is fornication. Fornication does not remove a person from the Muslim community as such. Even a person who, let's say, committed adultery or murder and was then put to death would still have an Islamic burial. Okay. So it is an excommunication as such, but it is an extraordinarily serious sin. Okay. Yes?
What if she is already married and converts to become a Muslim, but her husband's not?
Okay, say that again. She converts to become a Muslim, but her husband's not a Muslim.
Well, she's already married.
Yes.
Or then she converts.
Well, some people would say they should be divorced, and you have cases that like that have happened in the Islamic world, where let's say a person is deemed to be no longer a Muslim, and then will be separated. But again, I mean, that has to be weighed against the ethical importance of staying married. Yes.
Yeah, the official fatwa of the European Council is that women living in non-Muslim countries, that they retain the marriage as long as the husband's content with the conversion, and that's a valid jurisprudence position.
And this is, yeah, I mean, this is really a case where, a situation where, you have to think about what I was talking about earlier, which is the importance of the marriage itself. I mean, you don't want to sort of create these kinds of situations. I'm sorry, there was another hand up. Yes, I wanted to. Yes.
There's a power differential that a Muslim man may marry a non-Muslim woman,
Yes.
but the reverse case is not true.
Yes.
Because the non-Muslim husband may influence the wife
Yes.
to, in some way, advocate her religion.
Right.
But that implies, it seems to imply, that a woman cannot be as rooted or as fervent in religion as a man, whereas a man can withstand that, but not a woman.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of withstanding. I think Karima was talking about tempocentrism. I mean, you have to sort of think about the situation in which Islamic law is developed. It's not like it was a situation where a woman could say, all right, that's it, I'm going out on my own. It was a situation in which women were dependent absolutely on men. And so let's say, a man has financial control of the family, this kind of thing. It's quite possible that a woman could be placed in a situation where she would feel her religion compromised. It doesn't necessarily mean she would give it up because she's not as firm in her belief. It could mean that she could be coerced in some way into rejecting that belief, or at least, appearing to reject that belief. And so this was, of course, a problem. The other problem that I should have mentioned before was that all Muslims have a duty to raise their children Muslim. That's a religious duty. So if a Muslim man marries a non-Muslim woman, presumably he would have the authority within the family to say the children are going to be raised Muslim. But a Muslim woman who marries a non-Muslim man still has that responsibility toward her children, officially. And she may not be able to carry that out in that kind of a situation. So, I mean, it is assuming this kind of a situation between husband and wife. Yes?
A Muslim man comes to this country and studies, and a Christian gal, there is no contract, is that marriage recognized by the family?
By his family, you mean? Well, there should, I mean, if he's married Islamically, there should be a contract in any case. You know, I'm not sure actually how the contract would differ in the case of, you know, a Muslim man marrying a non-Muslim woman.